Welcome! I'm Jessica Wilcox, and I'm pleased to be presenting about Sylvia Harris. She was dubbed a citizen designer. Let's find out why. Sylvia Elizabeth Harris was born in 1953 in Richmond, Virginia, to parents Thomas Harris and Olive Layton Harris. Her father, known as Tricky Tom, was a legendary football, basketball, and track coach in both men's and women's sports at Virginia Union University, and her mother was an artist and art teacher. Harris experienced desegregation firsthand. Her colleague David Gibson recalls that she gained a visceral understanding of how social systems affect people's daily lives. These experiences had a powerful impact on her design in future years. Harris once told her colleague David Gibson of a time her mother shouted out the car window at Ku Klux Klansmen demonstrating in the street. In this video clip, Harris states, "I learned from my parents that you should always speak up about things that need changing." She describes how her parents' example encouraged her to take a stand herself.
I grew up in a family that was focused on the civil rights movement. And in fact, the March on Washington went right in front of my house. And I learned from my parents that you should always speak up about things that need changing. If something's happening in your environment, in your neighborhood, in your government, you have the right to speak up.
Harris's husband, Gary, described her character as an artist who used design as a powerful tool to fight for inclusion. At the young age of 14 or 15, Harris discovered this tool, this link between graphic design and activism. Listen as she describes her discovery.
I learned maybe in the 70s that, oh wow, graphic design could have an impact on my community. This green poster up here that you see that says "Hype" was the first piece of graphic design I ever did. I was about 14, 15. And my friends and I decided to put on a walk-a-thon to raise, this was before walk-a-thons were cool, to raise money for hunger. And so what we did is we made a poster, and we put the poster up, and the poster got attention, and then we got an article in the newspaper, which you see there, and that's us up there in the corner. And then the article led to more people coming to the walk and giving us money, and a light bulb went off in my head. There's a relationship between graphic design and activism and getting things done in the community.
Harris graduated from John Marshall High School in the spring of 1971 and went on to attend Virginia Commonwealth University. She graduated in 1975 with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Communication Art and Design with an undergraduate focus in photography. She landed her first job in the design department as a designer with WGBH, Boston's public news station. Even though her degree was in another field, Harris found a way to transfer her skill set to design. She recalls her work environment. There were few women, no people of color, few people close to me in age. There was not much to choose from for a mentor in the late 1970s. She worked under Chris Pullman, the vice president of the design department. Harris admired his work, commenting, "I liked what he was doing, working not for the private sector, but in this other whole world of design for the public good. It made a big impression." Pullman saw potential in Harris's efforts. She recalls, "He showed interest in my career, in me, and he gave me advice." Pullman became a mentor and catalyst for Harris's enrollment in the master's program in graphic design at Yale University. In 1980, Harris graduated from the Yale School of Art in graphic design. Shortly after graduating, Harris, along with school colleagues David Gibson and Juanita Dugdale, co-founded the design firm 212 Associates. Listen as Gibson recollects the events.
I first met Sylvia when we were students in the MFA program in graphic design at Yale. We were really exposed to a lot of different aspects of design that fueled some of Sylvia's curiosity. And at the end of the program, we started a business called 212 together.
The company name came from the Yale School of Art building at 212 York Street. The firm focused on public information design, a term coined by Harris. Her business partner, David Gibson, recalls, "We saw public information design as the focus of our multidisciplinary design practice and believed in the notion of good design for the common good. We weren't involved in selling things, but rather in helping to create access to the tools and places of public life." With human factors engineer and interaction designer Valerie Fenster and the Citibank ATM design team, Harris would create a groundbreaking user interface that included touchscreen features and Braille, and address customers with a personal human voice asking, "How may I help you?" These were the first cash machines to become ADA compliant once the Americans with Disabilities Act passed in 1990. In looking back at the Citibank project, David Gibson states, "In the era before mass email and the internet, Sylvia and her colleagues created a new human-centric paradigm of interaction with a computer system." Harris credits her project with Citibank for teaching her about usability and fundamentally the importance of involving people in the design of tools and communication. Some key design characteristics in the Citibank design package include a heavy influence from corporate modernism, which is evident by the use of a simple color palette and minimalistic geometric shapes. In addition, the sans serif typeface employed is highly legible. And finally, the use of large negative space gives an uncluttered design. In 1994, Harris left 212 Associates and founded a new company called Sylvia Harris, LLC. She shifted her focus to design planning and strategy. Harris's graphics have a shared quality of legibility and uncluttered design. These visual characteristics were derived from in-depth research and consultation of the user. In this clip, Harris expounds on her process.
Some of our projects are about publications, some are about media, and some are about signs. But what all the projects have in common is that we immerse ourselves in the material and take a look at it and experience it just like the users do. And that immersion process, I think, is what makes us unique, and that's really what we sell.
While directing her company Sylvia Harris LLC, she simultaneously taught in the Yale Graphic Design graduate program and notably introduced the first course in information design. She challenged her class to redesign the 1990 census form. Listen as she describes the assignment.
So for that class, I brought in the 1990 census form and said, "Hey guys, what do you think? Do you think we can do a better job of designing this?" And as you can see from this, it looks like an SAT. It looked like an SAT test. Really difficult. And the kids said, "Yes, we think we can do it." So they did. Every student redesigned it. And these are maybe 4 out of the 15 designs that they came up with, using typography and layout and paper folding to make the whole thing much more accessible, easier to read, easier to understand. But they were in black and white. And so I said, "Oh, okay, let's see what happens if we take it to Washington." So we hopped on a train, we went to Washington, we brought those down, and they hired us.
The census form went through several iterations during the design process. Harris and her students relied on testers' feedback to direct their design modifications. They received input from around 150 people. In this clip, Harris expounds on their design efforts.
So we did many prototypes, many variations on a theme. This is one of the many. And then tested them out on real people. We brought in focus groups. We pulled people off the street. We ran this form through, I would say, about 150 people, trying to figure out what's the best way to organize the data so it's understandable.
Here we see a side-by-side comparison of the two forms. The form on the left is the 1990 census form. It's sterile and reminiscent of a standardized testing sheet with the fill-in-the-bubble circles. It lacks hierarchy and direction, making it difficult to find where to look next. Conversely, the form on the right is the redesigned 2000 census form. It has color, with the yellow giving it a bright, friendly pop. The number line on the left clearly leads your eye through the form, directing you from question to question. Questions are worded clearly and concisely, and a brief description is given to help respondents understand why they are asked for that information. Some important design characteristics in the redesigned census form include, again, legible type with typographical hierarchy through the use of bolded and italicized type. Checkboxes and letter fields are aligned. A simple high contrast color palette is used, along with simple illustrative icons. Concise instructions and descriptions are included, and as always, a use of negative space to give a spacious, uncluttered look. Harris once wrote, "As citizens, we deserve public services that are efficient, effective, and respectful. We need straightforward forms and publications, easy-to-use websites and call centers, and clear signage and communications in public buildings." Her company's projects prove that good design can make virtually anything easy to understand. The following are several examples of Harris's work. Notice the simplicity as well as the depth of research that is present in them. Here we have before and after images of the USPS missed delivery form. This is a graphic representing an in-depth study done for the Lincoln Center for Performing Arts. This example is a poster representing Harris's study of the voting experience and ways to improve it. After the close margins in the 2000 election were credited in part to ballot design, the American Institute of Graphic Arts, or the AIGA, a professional design organization, issued a challenge to designers to propose solutions. Harris's poster, Voting by Design, analyzed the end-to-end voting experience from registration to exit polling, demonstrating the way good design could aid the democratic process. Designer and friend Jessica Heflin wrote of Harris, "Her advocacy for democracy came from a profound desire to help people and to listen to them." In this example, we see a graphic flowchart illustrating suggested improvements to the Medicare experience shown from the perspective of the citizen using the service. Here's another example of graphics representing a thorough study and proposed improvements, in this case for Columbia University. And the graphic pictured here is representative of Harris's analysis to improve wayfinding on the New York University campus. In this clip, Harris describes the unique challenges NYU faces with its sprawling city campus and how she and her team found solutions to improve the wayfinding experience.
NYU is one of New York's most vital institutions, and they cover and own and manage a lot of real estate. And they realized that they had an identity problem and a wayfinding problem on their campuses. They came to us and our partner firm, Pentagram, which is a design firm in Manhattan, and asked us to together figure out how to improve the brand, how to improve the maps, and how to improve signage on the street. So what we do is we don't just go in the studio and design. We come out on the street, interact with people, bring them in, talk to them, and that's how we understand how to make maps and signs better and workable. The most important thing about the work that we've done is the research that we conducted for these maps, which have been up for many, many years, but the university was clear that they weren't working. Well, on the old maps, there was list and list of information, which there is still here, but it wasn't in really alphabetical order. And then also the campus was very hard to understand. The colors were so similar that people couldn't tell the buildings from the background. Some of the other things that we did is we discovered people couldn't figure out where they were on the map. So we made the "You Are Here" much bolder and redder and brighter. And the other thing that we figured out is people didn't know what building they were in front of. So we put the name of the building on every map, which is a real innovation. And then we also included the neighborhoods all around so that people knew where they were. So now these say Soho and Gramercy and Chelsea, so that people have a sense of where they are in the city, because this is a university in the city.
In 2011, Harris rebranded and repurposed Sylvia Harris LLC to Citizen Research and Development, or Citizen R&D. Harris wanted to dig deeper into research to more fully investigate what would help organizations understand how people actually experience design systems, and use that research to implement intelligent plans for large-scale public design programs. In addition, she wanted to build a practice that was bigger than herself, a band of citizens who would use their expertise on behalf of the common good. Alice Hines said of Harris, "At Citizen R&D, Harris advocated for design for public benefit and proposed user-friendly versions of government forms and processes. For Harris, design was more than aesthetic improvement. She believed in service design for the masses and dedicated each project to improving the lives of others." In this clip, Harris indicates what she hoped to achieve by transitioning to Citizen R&D.
The firm started out as Sylvia Harris LLC, an information design firm. So now we're launching a new company called Citizen Research and Design. We've been a Brooklyn-based graphic design firm for 15 years. Now the company is involved in communications design, looking at broad sweeps, how to communicate with mass audiences on behalf of big institutional clients.
On Thursday, July 21st, 2011, Harris collapsed during a meeting in Washington, D.C., and was rushed to George Washington University Hospital. On July 24th, 2011, at the age of only 57, she passed away, surrounded by family and friends, due to sudden heart failure. In 2014, Harris was posthumously awarded the AIGA Medal for her unerring commitment to using design to improve the civic experience and for influencing a generation of designers as a teacher and mentor. And on November 4th, 2021, the Society for Experiential Graphic Design, or SEGD, celebrated Harris's legacy as a pioneer in design for the public good by posthumously honoring her at their annual conference in Philadelphia with the 2021 SEGD Fellow Award. Harris's husband, Gary, accepted the award on her behalf. He described her work as informed by embracing those who were excluded, overlooked, or marginalized, noting that she used design as a powerful tool to bring all people under the tent of inclusion. Of Sylvia Harris, David Gibson states, "She was a remarkable advocate of good design for real people, a citizen designer." Here are my sources cited. Thank you for watching.